Alright, the final film I'm reviewing this week is called Stone, and it stars the tandem of two terrific actors, Robert De Niro and Edward Norton. These two teamed up years back in The Score, which was a really fun and dramatic adventure caper. And both De Niro and Norton are excellent here, which is no surprise. But if you're expecting something Oscar-worthy or brilliant here, do not hold your breath. This is very much a character-driven film, but the plot is not very compelling or as captivating as the characters telling the story. This is, it does not give the justice that this film deserves. Now, of course, this has De Niro and Norton really, most of this movie, and that's what makes them even so entertaining, is playing games with each other from across a prison desk. And really, Norton tackles a different element, not the kind of prisoner he was in American History X, but just more of a, it seems like the traits are just a lot different, but you can see the similarities too of his brightness and smartness, but he uses it in a more even diabolical fashion than he did in that film. Now, I gotta say, the psychological duel here is between a parole officer and, again, the tricky prisoner. Now, Norton plays, his name is Gerald Creason, and he's in prison for his role in a crime that resulted in the murder of his grandparents and the burning of their house. De Niro is Jack Mabry, who plays, I guess, everything to the, he's the by-the-book kind of guy, and he's trying to just keep himself away from the darkness that inhabits just his heart and soul. This is the type of character that is just tailor-made for Robert De Niro. He's always good at playing someone seemingly having it all on the outside, having it all figured out, and being, this tip-top, ship-shape kind of guy. But really, his vices always get the better of him, and in this film, it's his vice of, just sadness and what really he goes through, and he just can't express it. He has no I guess you could say form to express it. Now, years later, there's actually a terrifying scene early in the film amongst his young wife and infant, and years later they're still together in just a loveless trap of a marriage. But yet, of course, for better or for worse, they're still together merely for the fact of being together. And he has nothing overly wrong here, and it's neither does she really. Her name is Madeline. She's played very well by Frances Conroy, and she seems to be, just kind of hunched over this, whole hill of what this marriage has become, and really it's kind of sad to watch at times. Now he just kind of goes away at his alcohol and just watches his TV, just kind of stare at anything just to kind of pass the day away and really just not enjoy any of it or not even try to really. And again, you want this character to really just do something significant, but it's these types of scenes in this movie that really don't connect. And again, they're well done, it just doesn't connect with what I think this movie was trying to accomplish. And this could go get it. And this could just he could pass his caseload on to his successor. He's nearing retirement, but no, he will do his duty to every last detail. Now, this includes handling a parole plea by Creason, who is very smart and emotional manipulator, whose wife Lucetta, Mila Jovovich, is such a woman that such a man might use and be used by. Creason senses that Mabry, the duty-bound straight arrow, might be vulnerable to temptation. Now, again, also Lucetta is smart enough to try not a bold seduction but a mental game, which Mabry essentially seduces himself. This movie does a fantastic job of allowing these two characters to play the mentality that their characters have, despite the lack of interesting overall plot lines. But these two actors and the film's overall concept deserved a lot better. Norton is good at playing characters who have a deep psyche and mental powers that can be used in very dangerous fashions, much like he did in Primal Fear. Norton has proven to me time and time again that no matter what the movie may be, he's still always up to the task, and that is the kind of actor I like today in Hollywood. And Edward Norton is just that type of guy. As for De Niro, actually, one more thing I want to say about Norton is that he psychologically brings something not just as an actor, but he puts that into his characters, just because that's some extra mentality. De Niro can do just about anything, any genre in his entire career. While over the last decade, many of his movies have been hit or miss, he's finding his groove again. He had a tremendous performance in last year's Everybody's Fine, despite the movie's overall nature of just being, I do believe De Niro does have one or two last great performances in him before his career comes to an end, and Norton, in my opinion, has plenty left to give. And while he hasn't quite matched Norton himself hasn't quite matched one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in any movie, like in American History X, When you've done something like that, it's not easy to match it, but Norton hasn't given up, and he still does great for what he does. And I look forward to what either of these two have to offer us in the future. I also have to give credit, of course, to Conroy and Jovovich, surprisingly Jovovich, who really just lend a lot to this film, are quite effective in their roles. But I just wish it could have been more than what it was. I was on the fence, but since the actors were more than up to the task and went above and beyond the overall plot and material, mostly the plot, I give Stone 3 stars out of 5, and that is it for this week's edition of Bill Chasing the Movies. Next week, we will have reviews of Red, the new action caper starring Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren, and John Malkovich. Johnny Knoxville back with Jackass 3D. Hereafter, directed by Clint Eastwood and starring Matt Damon. Conviction, a new movie with an ensemble cast led by Hilary Swank. And the documentary known as The Promise, featuring the making of Bruce Springsteen's album Darkness on the Edge of Town. And also, we're going to look back on one of the great cult films of all time, Rocky Horror Picture Show. That is it for this week, and until next week, I am Bill Chase, and I will be at the movies, and I'm sorry for the nature of this episode. It was kind of a lot of circumstances going on here today at the house. But whatever, I'll be better next week. So until then, I am Bill Chase, and I will be at the movies, and thank you all for tuning in. Goodbye, everybody.